They're being surrounded by friggin' UFOs.
Everything about our lives is contained. When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
Like hovering craft.
Wreckage?
Key point here.
I'm angry. I'm really angry about this.
So if you're wondering who this bloke is, he's a legendary reporter from Australia. His name's Ross Coulthart. He's done a heap of work in the UFO field and researching this subject over the years, despite the ridicule and probably the danger it took on his career. Today we're just going to be talking a bit about cover-ups and how intelligence and misinformation in the media controlled through the American government has affected us today and the general news that's happened this week.
The lesson of what's happening right now is that mainstream media has unwittingly colluded in that kind of ridicule, stigma and taboo. And frankly, I admit it, I've been part of it in my history as a journalist in mainstream media.
Now, continuing on from what Ross said here, I want you to watch this video and you tell me if it's not obvious that the mainstream media isn't controlling us through the media and basically scripting what the media is telling us, which has happened throughout the ages.
Produce this.
But we are concerned about trouble-driven, irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets are true without checking facts first.
Here's a clip of Woody Harrelson doing a skit on SNL about COVID. Now watch how the media reacts and criticizes him.
The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes. And people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over.
They do. They ridicule him and they brand him a conspiracy theorist. I hate the word conspiracy theorist because a conspiracy theorist is usually a ridicule term, mostly derived from UFOs and that subject, which makes out like you don't have any factual evidence behind your theory, which isn't true. Most conspiracy theories have a factual basis behind them. I'm not saying they all do. And a bit of hypocrisy here. It's like calling every physicist a conspiracy theorist because they don't have physical matter or evidence for their theory. They're making a hypothesis of what their mathematical evidence or their findings and their beliefs are, which on the basis is a theory. So you could call it a conspiracy theory. Facts.
MSNBC are motivated not by profit, but by their ideals. Let's have a look. MSNBC, you will not hear experts who criticize insurance or pharmaceutical companies, and you will not hear experts who criticize Wall Street. Remembering, of course, that Wall Street owns the insurance and pharmaceutical companies.
Followers was trying to stream the National Press Club event. TikTok put up a warning, took the whole broadcast down, and said this is misinformation, and blocked it. Now, I've heard that's happened on a number of people's channels because they were trying to crunch down the truth about this coming out, particularly these unconstitutional governmental programs that are involved in atrocities and war crimes.
Well, why is UFO such a, suppressed thing?
This is the biggest secret in the history of the world, and certainly of a very powerful industrial and financial interest. So this information coming out is completely a game changer, because all of a sudden, what happens if every person in the world have 0 point free energy that we talk about in the lost century and how to reclaim it? Well, all the oil, petrodollar, banking, etc. has to get changed over.
That's Doctor Steven Greer, by the way, and I definitely recommend to look him up.
If Grush say, as he does, that he knows that there's been a deliberate disinformation campaign against the American people to keep this secret from them. Media were approached in the making of this story by Leslie and Ralph to get this published in major newspapers. And you know what? They didn't get a spine. They failed horribly to recognize the significance of this story. And they allowed themselves to be led by their nose by people inside the Pentagon who are still trying to suppress this story. Washington Post, gutless cowards for their failure to follow this story up. This is, I cannot believe how badly they have abrogated their responsibility as journalists.
They might have abrogated their responsibility as journalists, but they haven't abrogated their responsibility as serving their country, which they are forced by the Pentagon intelligence agents that work inside of their industries, such as CNN, Fox, the Washington Post, all these big papers, all these big TV companies. They're doing what they're told. This is the control the government has over our media corporation.
Leslie Kane's debrief article, I got angrier and angrier. It's just appalling that this has been kept secret.
Well, ditto to all of that. It's kind of ironic. You called them gutless cowards, and I had written down here cowardly sissies. So I guess we're thinking along the same lines. I'm going to name the names one more time for people that didn't, institutions that didn't step up. You got the New York Times, you got the Washington Post, but you also have the Hill and Politico, who also did not step up. And, I can't feel very good about that. I'm not just mad at the government, although I am. And by the way, one of the things you're going to learn in Ross's reporting is that it's a 90-year cover-up, not the one that we've been saying might be 80. It's a 90-plus year cover-up.
And I just want to state here, too, that this Dr. Kirkpatrick, the leader of Arrow, is a direct effect of what this is all about. This is another media cover-up, little guinea pig put in to spread propaganda, say there's no such thing as UFOs, same old, same as these NASA guys making jokes when they're talking about potentially the biggest moment in the whole history of the human race, which is all contradictory to what's been happening at the moment with control of the media, how we've had a cover-up for the last 90 years of UFOs with unknown phenomena, and now they're coming out and admitting it. Does that mean that our ancient past also has been covered up? If you look at the evidence, it says it has. If you look at how things such as religion were basically ancient forms of media control, and this is what we're slowly finding out, and that even our ancient history isn't what we thought it was, because so many of our recent findings and archaeological digs that have found things that don't match up with our archaeological timeline has been exposed, which is going to change everything. And Gary Nolan, who's coming up now, he is on the forefront of this subject.
The fact of the matter is that the discipline of archaeology claims total power over the human past. I can't help it. I've been looking at some of the Twitter threads about my series that archaeologists have been posting, and they're saying, don't watch this. Give it a double thumbs down. Don't allow Netflix to make another season with this guy. They appear to regard themselves as the sole arbiters of the human past. And they seem to despise the general public and don't feel that the general public can make up their mind that my views are somehow so dangerous that the general public will be polluted and might lose faith in the mainstream archaeological narrative. So it is definitely about power. Our archaeologists are those in our society who hold the keys to our past. They're the only ones we're supposed to listen to. Power, there's no doubt that power is involved. Perhaps power is involved in every aspect of human behavior. I don't know. But wherever power becomes dominant and claims monopoly and asks people not to listen and to shut up and pay no attention, I think that needs to be challenged.